What's going on, you guys? It is Fatal here today to bring you the review for Destiny 2. Has it really been 3 years? Destiny 2 comes on the back of some pretty extensive expansion work that was the point of controversy for pretty much all of Destiny, along with some other things. In fact, most people who hear the word Destiny immediately think contentious thoughts, but there's still the few of us that remain loyal to the game that was great and then slowly petered away. So the real question is, can Destiny 2 reinvigorate what was great, or is it just a continuation of the downward spiral? Well, let's talk story, and yes, this is probably the best narrative Destiny has offered in its base game or any of its expansions. It's thrilling, it's compelling, it's atmospheric, it's beautiful, it's emotional, it's intense, it's rich, it's everything you want a sequel's campaign to be. Everything is just bigger, brighter, more beautiful, and I can't help but fall in love with the world of Destiny when it's this engaging. The addition of new characters, plus the backstories into some characters, feeding on the emotions, feeding on the fear of no longer being immortal when a big-ass cabal shows up to steal the light from the Traveler and pretty much throws the Guardians into, well, a bit of a situation. The opening sequence is breathtaking, and everything that follows is right on par. Now once Gaul, the Cabal, has taken your light, you need to recover it somehow. But how? Well, you're gonna have to venture into the EDZ, the European Dead Zone, which is gorgeous, absolutely dripping with atmosphere, attention to detail. It's a delight to be walking around the EDZ if it weren't for the fact that it's crawling with baddies. And speaking of enemies, they're all back. The Vex, the Cabal, the Fallen, the Hive, they're all back. Even the Taken make an appearance. Now I know what you're thinking. What exciting new enemy factions have they added to the game? There's a few new classes and enemy variants for the existing factions, but nothing that really breaks the mold. There are a few new characters to each faction, such as the formidable gladiators, the hounds, or even the pesky invisible wretches for the Fallen. But Destiny's strength was never in how many villains it had, even though it would be nice to play against a new enemy, or maybe a faction that isn't an enemy at all. So like Destiny 1, your return to greatness is going to require you to get some loot. Lots of loot. High level, exciting new loot. And Bungie have really delivered in this regard. Guns are exciting, exquisitely detailed, and fun to use. Many of the old exotics have returned, such as the raspberry chest armor for the hunter, or even the hard light assault rifle. But there's also many new guns, and I'm delighted to say that it's finally good to just pick up guns you don't need. Underleveled, it all contributes to progression, and I'll tell you how. For me, the first noticeably brilliant thing about Destiny 2 in terms of progressing my character is that I'm always progressing my character. Even when I'm picking up those blue engrams that will not raise my light at all, they can still be dismantled for gun materials. Now, I know what you're saying, oh no, gun materials, those were hopeless. All you could do really with those was slowly upgrade your weapons. Well, that upgrade system is gone, introducing the new modded weapon system, where every weapon you pick up will have the same stats, but perhaps not the same element. Now, of course, you can get stronger versions of each weapon depending on where you are when you pick up said weapon, but it should be noted now that you won't need to grind for certain versions of weapons. That's no longer a thing. So what do you do with all those gun parts? Well, actually, you still take them to Banshee 44, but now, like everything else in the game, he's taking them as part of a deal that will give you an instant legendary engram. What do I mean by that? Every planet you visit is going to have a form of open world token that you can collect from various things such as defeating mini-bosses, having success in public events which have also been revamped, and even just exploring around and doing patrols. These will award you with tokens, and you can rack up tokens pretty quickly, and it's around 20 tokens per rank up. No, it doesn't mean you're going to need 50 for the second rank up or 100 for the third. It's always the same number. So a good hour spent running around with your friends getting stuff done on a planet could be well well worth your while. If you're not going to get good loot from that, you're definitely going to get loot from your purple engram. So many things are customizable now. The new shader system, which I approve of, are one-time use only things that you can collect multiples of to decorate every piece of your armor. But as I've said, you will be decorating your armor individually, or decorating your ship, or your sparrow. Customizations never look better in Destiny, though I'm sure there will be people who are a little bit annoyed that they don't just have a one shader suits all anymore. Remember those exotic quests that would pop up randomly while you were going about your business in Destiny 1? Now they're set quests that will be in the endgame, so you don't have to worry about if you'll ever get that bounty, but more when you're going to get that bounty. As you rally the rest of the Guardians together, you're going to start to notice that there's a lot more on the cards here. You'll be introduced to new characters, impactful characters with their own story to tell that adds an emotional depth to the story, but also gives you yet another thing to work towards, such as the new clan system, which has you work with your friends to actually contribute as a group to getting special rewards when your week is done. A fantastic idea that will only encourage people to group up and hang together more. One such activity that will be released the Wednesday following the release of this review is the brand new raid Leviathan. I decided to release my review before then because my score will not change regardless of the state of the raid. We already know what to expect from raids, and if you don't know, well, they're 6-man trials, if you will, of cooperative play that will require you to solve all kinds of different puzzles, create excellent timing for you and your buds, and also do a lot of damage to very powerful enemies. And it can be very rewarding, so it's well worth doing. And we already know that this raid will most likely be completely awesome, just like all the raids that have come before it. Getting back to atmosphere in the game, this is the best score Destiny has had. They've kept coming back with new bits of music with every expansion they've done, but this score is absolutely phenomenal. Strikes are making a welcome return, and an extra one will be available to PlayStation players for about a year, but the Strike Pyramidion is what put a big smile on my face. A clear homage to the brilliant Vault of Glass raid, with all kinds of obstacle courses ahead of you. It's just a thrill. The music's brilliant, the ambience is brilliant, it's the best Strike to date. So how does it look? Well, pretty damn good in my opinion. I reviewed the game on the Xbox One, and even though I know the numbers don't equal an incredible experience visually, I love what they've done with the game. The lighting and textures and attention to detail, as I've said, is just phenomenal. I love the shadow work, and I absolutely love the reflections. This is undoubtedly a game free from the shackles of the previous gen. Brilliant a console as the Xbox 360 was, and brilliant a console as the PlayStation 3 was, they no doubt held Destiny 1 back from being a graphical masterpiece. Well, I'm pleased to announce Destiny 2 builds on it, not taking away its look, but rather refining it, sharpening it up, and making it just delightful on the eye. I can't wait to see some footage of this game in 4K when it arrives on PC this October. Controls remain snap-tight, absolute precision, and absolute perfection in terms of general control of your character and any weapon or secondary weapon you might be using. Verticality and area dynamics is very important in Destiny, particularly with all the jumping puzzles, and I'm delighted to say that Destiny 1, though pretty good at it, has been beaten by its successor because Destiny 2 nails it. Perfect precision, perfect control. The delightfully challenging Nightfall is back, which is a version of a strike with a lot of modifiers on to make it that much more fun. And if that weren't enough, now there is a time limit. You can add more time to your clock by killing enemies, but you really will feel under pressure to get to the final boss quickly, particularly in the longer strikes. Competitive multiplayer, also known as the Crucible, makes a return, but it's been refined down to 4 a side, which, as you all know, is something I absolutely adore ever since the original Gears of War. I find it the perfect amount, and though I know a lot of people will wonder why there's fewer players, because all modes only feature 4v4, when you actually watch the game in action, see everything come together, and see teamwork actually play a role, it's an absolute delight. I can't believe I'm saying this after what happened last time, but I actually really like the Crucible. As I hinted at before, whenever you go to a planet, you'll be able to discover, well, the same way you could discover hidden elements and plant life in the previous game. They're a little more important now. Rather than just picking them up for upgrading, you can pick them up to collect to give to the sort of warden of the map, if you will. There's always one key central character you can return to bring the tokens of that world to cash in for that beautiful purple engram. Speaking of purple engrams, loot drops are more frequent than ever, and I have seen more purple engrams drop in open gameplay than I had in a week of Destiny 1. And it still doesn't feel like you're getting too much good loot. You're still mostly dismantling things, putting it towards those purple engrams so that you can level up your Guardian. I've already clocked 40 hours on the game, but I'm still so far away from reaching absolute power with my character. There's a lot for fans to appreciate about Destiny 2, be it the gorgeous visuals, the wonderful cinematics, the excellent backdrops, the touch-tight controls, the beautiful array of loot for you to find, the wonderful music, the excellent story. Although it is by the numbers, it's a compelling enough narrative to really engage you and immerse you in the overall experience. Destiny 2 is phenomenal. Everything just seems so much better now. Be it the worlds you get to explore, the traversal options of the worlds, treasure hunts, all the new features such as the lovely Dark Sector mini dungeons and other such activities waiting for you as you explore the worlds, random chests which could potentially contain an exotic engram. It's an absolute delight to go exploring, go looting, bring your friends. This is an absolute must-have for Destiny fans. If you didn't like Destiny 1, this isn't going to convert you. If you loved Destiny 1, but then watched it peter away into being something that you couldn't quite stand anymore, well, relax. Hope restored, Destiny 2 comes back swinging. Bungie have done a fantastic job. This is the perfect example of how you come back from the dead. A contentious, massively hated game, often scrutinized for having no content and being built upon a DLC model. There's so many plans for Destiny 2. All kinds of weekly changes are returning, including shifting nightfalls, shifting strikes, and a new thing called Trials of the Nine, which will feature multiplayer in a not so dissimilar to Trials of Osiris way. It's an absolute delight to see Destiny really bring it for the sequel. You always fear that the sequels are going to come out and they're just going to be more of the same, which is why so many people will disregard this game as being Destiny 1.5, and I assure you, from the bottom of my heart, it's absolutely not. Destiny 2 deserves to be the sequel that we all wanted the first game to be. It's absolutely fantastic, and if you have any interest in Destiny 2 at all, waste no more time, go snap this bad boy up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in for my review of Destiny 2. If you liked it, tear that like button limb from limb, and if you're still a hungry shark, take a big delicious bite out of the subscribe button, see what else is on the menu. And if you like this video and you want to see more like it, click right here.